Um, I was sitting over here with my uncle and my father. They were getting him situated to get an air unit put on the back of a truck, get it strapped down. And so we was standing out here, and I had looked over my shoulder. I heard the train coming, looked over my shoulder, and I seen the bus going across the crossing, but I didn't pay any mind to it. And I turned back. Then I looked over again, and then I seen the bus was stuck. So first intention was to take off running, trying to, assist the people. I guess the bus driver, he seemed like he was in a panic. I guess he had panic because at the time and moment when he knew he was stuck, he didn't open the door. So I ran. So I was running towards the bus, and by the time I had got there, I think like 5 or 6 people had got off. And by the time there was some more in the doorway, and by the time it had happened, the train had hit them, and that's how you got the 3 on the outside of the deceased on the outside of the train, because they were trying to get off the bus when the train had impact, and they got flung off.
What was the sound like when the train made impact?
It was loud. It was definitely something to be that close and see it happen, because it all seemed like it had happened slow motion. When it had happened, it was seemed like it was real slow, but then it sped up when the sound had hit. So it was definitely scary.
How were the people on the bus reacting? Were they?
I couldn't tell from the time and moment. The windows were tinted on the bus, so I was just running towards the bus at the time and moment. But at the same rate the train was moving, I was moving towards the bus trying to get there. And the ones that did get off after they were historical getting off the bus, and the others had when it had happened they were in shock. The elderly people were in shock after the train had made that impact. So it was definitely disturbing to see.
You rushed in to help.
Yes,
what
ma'am.
What drew you in to help? Why?
I just seen it with natural reaction. It was just natural reaction to try to run and try to at least help as much as possible. Try to do what you can. At that time wasn't nobody else there. It was just us 3. They took off running behind me once I had, seen what was going on, and I ran off and tried to, get as many of them off the bus. Tried to yell and tell them to open the door, let them off. Don't keep them on there, because it was only going to be worse, and that's what had happened. So I guess, like I said, the driver had gotten a panic when it had happened and everything. And I guess he felt as if he could get it off, and he couldn't. I knew he couldn't, because I've seen multiple vehicles get hung up on that track. So it was definitely knowing to that knowledge he was stuck.
What was it you were able to do to help these people?
I was yelling to tell the driver, because I guess he didn't have no knowledge that he knew it was stuck. But I knew it was stuck, so I was running and trying to tell him, give up trying to move the bus, get them off, because you're not gonna move. You weren't gonna move.
Before the
This
crash.
is before it had happened. This was probably probably like 10 minutes before the crash. I had took off running trying to get them off, but I knew at that time, once the moment I had seen the train, I knew it wasn't going to end well at that time and moment. I knew. I saw the impact. It was slow motion. It was like something out of a movie. It was like something you couldn't, it was just slow. Once I seen the train coming, he was trying to slow it down, but it was too much weight, and he just made that impact.
When you got closer to the bus and you started helping people, what was that scene like? I mean,
It was strange. It was different, to start, seeing the people. They were running off trying to get off the bus, but they're elderly, and they were, kind of moving kind of slow, and then the ones that kind of got stuck, who did get deceased had got stuck in the door, and when the train hit it, it was pretty much end of that. They kind of got flung out from there. So it was definitely, it was a disturbing scene to witness that up that close, So
they were on their way out of the bus.
they were on their way when it hit. When the one that's up under the bus and the 2 that were along the track, they were actually the elderly lady, she was off the bus, and she stood back up, and the door caught her, and it drug her. And so that's how she winded up deceased. And the older guy, I guess the impact must have killed him, because when I looked at him, he was face down in the grass, and then I had seen the one that was up under the train, seen him mangled up under there. So it was kind of graphic.
After the impact, What were your first thoughts? What did you do?
I get to the phone, dial 911. And that was the first thing that I did was to get emergency service here as soon as possible because it wasn't nothing I can do because I don't have any medical training. So the first thing I knew was to get medical services here. And my uncle, he was standing up here, but he had actually went up to the bus after it had impact because I took off running past back to my vehicle to get my phone to dial 911. So that's the first thing I did after the impact was to get medical response here as soon as possible.
Did any of them say anything after all of this?
No, none of them. I had left the ones that got off the bus. I had left them, the ones that were they were standing there on the corner of Main Street, and I ran back after the impact to my vehicle to get my phone. So I didn't say anything to them after that. So I didn't have a conversation with them after that.
Is this something that's ingrained in your memory? I mean, how is this going to affect you?
It's definitely be something different. It's definitely something different to life today, to see life, be in that quick in a flash, for one moment, just having a thought of, what they had going through their mind at that moment. They didn't have death on their mind today. They wasn't thinking about death. They were probably pretty much here probably trying to enjoy themselves because we have a lot of tourists here, and that's what, the casinos invest in is a lot of tourists. So I'm pretty sure that's what they were when I'm pretty sure they were chartering to another casino at that time or moment. So